Yes, and welcome back to another episode with me, Luke, your host. So again, it's another late one today as I've been working. So we're going to jump straight into the Bitcoin price. A little bit of news with Gary Gensler and the SEC, and then we're going to look at the monthly returns for Bitcoin as we come to the end of another year. So stay tuned to the very end. And then tomorrow I'm going to go into the Bitcoin price again and also into crypto gaming. So stay tuned for tomorrow's episode. So just jumping over into the Bitcoin price. Not a lot has happened this day. It's the 14th, Thursday of December. And yeah, Bitcoin is trying to jump back up to the levels that we collapsed a few days ago at 43,800, but we're just kind of struggling back up into those zones. I mean, I don't expect us to go up there anytime soon, as tomorrow is the last day of the week, going into the weekend, and generally speaking, except last weekend was really good, but 7-8 times out of 10 the weekends are pretty flat and boring, and again I prefer it like that anyway. So just looking at the indication or indicators, we still have this RSI, the divergence, and the CME gap that I've been talking about, rambling on about this week. And yeah, as you can see, we have this bearish divergence on the daily, and this huge CME gap. It's about $1,000 worth, this gap, just between the 39,000 range all the way up to the $40,500 range. And if we just zoom in to the 1 hour, you'll be able to see it a lot better. Let me get rid of the bearish divergence RSI, and there we go. So we've still got this CME gap to fill up. And again, 8-9 times out of 10, these gaps do get filled. So that would be, if you're trading this, if you're going short, or even if you're going long, if you want to go long, then you've got my Bybit affiliate link in the description just below this video. So if we do end up filling this gap, that would be about almost a 10% dump down to the $39,100 level. So CME gap, the RSI, there's a big bearish divergence there on the daily, so it's just something to look out for over the next week. So again, yeah, tomorrow's Friday, going into the weekend, we could have a rally. I'm not saying we're not going to, it's just bearish divergence. We have this CME gap. Things are pointing that we might just pull back slightly before we go a leg higher. And maybe we have that leg up higher to 50k before the end of this year. We're only a few weeks away to the end of this year. So just jumping over to the Bitcoin monthly gains. And as you can see, we've had a pretty solid year of 2023, and this is just the accumulation phase of Bitcoin. Going into 2024, that's when the fun will begin. But yeah, December and back in October, I did mention that October is generally a good month that we see large gains, and what we call it Pumptober. And then I did make that prediction that November and December would be in the green. And yet November was in the green. It wasn't by much, it was only about 8-9%. But then we're halfway through December and we are 14% in the green for this month. So hopefully we can have a strong end to this year going into next year. And let's see what happens at the beginning of next year. Just finally, just some quick news. Gary Gensler says that the SEC is taking a new look at the spot Bitcoin ETF proposals. Yes, in an interview with the CNBC, Gary Gensler said that the grayscale court ruling pushed the SEC to take a new look at Bitcoin ETF proposals. And I mean, in crypto, the traditional finance, governments, and all of these different things, they all happen at the right time for the big institutions. And I mean, the Bitcoin ETF is going to happen most likely now. It's not going to happen over the next 2 weeks before the end of this year, but we will see it in the first quarter of next year, pre-Bitcoin halving. And who knows what could happen after the ETF when they allow it. We'll probably see a huge dump, maybe just after. It literally might be a buy the rumor, sell the news event, and then just we have that dump pre-halving. Then after the halving, all these big institutions buy Bitcoin at lower time frames, at lower prices, ready for that parabolic bull run. So the lesson for us, for myself, for all of us, again, none of this is financial advice, is trying to get into the market before these things happen. But yeah, the SEC, Gary Gensler, they will allow these ETFs at some point, most likely next year. So stay tuned for that. I mean, I think it's in the beginning of January when these proposals, the deadlines for these proposals are. So let's just see and wait for 2024, which is just around the corner. So again, jumping over back into the Bitcoin price. Tomorrow I'm going to go over it just for a weekly roundup, and then we're going to jump into some crypto gamings. I've had a few comments, so I'm going to look at some of those crypto games that were in my comment section over the last few days. So hope you have a great week this week. Stay tuned for tomorrow's episode. Have a good evening, and I'll see you tomorrow.